What's up, everybody? This is Bob's Three-Toed Warriors with the Word on the Street, Season 1, Episode 10, titled, I Got a Fever.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is for cowbell.
There you go. Today I have Shane Swagger with me to talk fantasy football. What's going on, Shane?
How's it going? That's an awesome skit.
It is a great skit. I love the full skit. It's
yeah, and I'm guessing everybody's kind of seen or heard or they see the GIF. Do you say GIF or GIF?
Depends on the mood. GIF. I usually say.
So I know, right?
So.
I get a little crazy sometimes, but yeah, you have to go back and watch those old Saturday Night Lives. Those were awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna go with he's got so much swagger, but I'm like, wait, I don't think it's said that way, so I'm like, I had to change it last minute. So
yeah, okay. So much swag.
That's right.
A lot of people call me that though. Like, I don't know, it kind of and even like do some shows with Shane Manila, so it ends up being easier to just like be swag. So it kind of helped. I don't know. It's just kind of always happened. I started out, we were doing fantasy football breakdown, and back then I was Swagzilla, which I think I'm going to go back to. We'll see. Maybe we'll sign off that way. But you know what? First of all, thanks a ton for having me on. Super excited to do this. So
no, I'm glad to have you on.
I'll take the whole show right from the beginning and just frickin' run with it, Bob. You got to just jump in there.
That's all good. It's all good. I love the guests that are fired up. It makes it for a much easier show and a much easier listen for those listening. And speaking of listening, you can catch my podcast on just about every platform out there. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a 5-star rating because you are good peoples. It really helps out the show, and I appreciate it. So today we're going to be breaking down rookie ADP, Dynasty rookie ADP for your rookie drafts that are still going on. I lied for a second there. And see if we can talk about all that rookie fever that's going on. Before we do that, Shane, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
Well, I am at DFF_swag in the Twitterverse. And then I do a show. The first show we started, which I kind of mentioned, was Fantasy Football Breakdown. Started with FL 2 Drink Minimum on Twitter. My boy 2 Drink. Really just started banging them out on there. That's kind of where we like caught the passion for it and just got really lucky with him and the chemistry. Then we were lucky enough to do Super Flexible together and kind of the same thing. And then so Super Flexible Fantasy Football Breakdown. And then I don't know. I think I just get lucky and these guys don't mind putting up with me, but then I do Rookie Fever with the Feverish Fernero and just all the great times. So
Rookie Fever is the one that I was talking about earlier off air that had that little draft going on.
Okay. Yeah.
That cracked me up. The banter between the four of you. I set this draft a certain way, but whatever. It's okay. You fucking cheated.
Oh yes, Shane will do that to you.
Crack me up.
You think I'm gonna take over the show? Get him on.
We'll have to talk. We'll have to see. Sounds
absolutely.
Good.
He'll come on.
So what are the 3 pods about? Kind of obvious from the names, but break it down.
Yep, super flexible. I mean, we focus on kind of anything super flexible. It ends up just by like almost accident and being so thrown into that category, you would end up talking about a lot of quarterbacks. But the reality of the show in our mindsets, like when we're doing it, it's anything like tight end premium, super flex, like anything that might be a little bit different. We want to cater to it. So really anything, but the super flex like is kind of what we like to build the teams around and that quarterback value. And we think that's important. We go back and forth on it. We don't totally agree, but we're a pretty like quarterback heavy approach to how you build those startups. And then Fantasy Football Breakdown, that's just a really loose, fun show. Half the time we don't have notes. I've prepared more for your show than I've ever prepared for one of mine. So those guys already jealous of you, Bob. And then, but that show, we just get super loose and just kind of go at it. The key to the show is like, we really hardly ever know what's going to be thrown at us. Like if Two Drinks sitting with something in his lap, I rarely know what it is. And same with me to him. And
Okay.
we might have a little bit of a guide to, let's do this and we'll go this way. And sometimes we don't even that. Well, like there's literally been days where we don't know when we start a show with just like, well, let's just like ask the question is Andy Dalton a buy low in Dynasty? And literally that was all we had. And by the end of the show, you've talked about so many different things. And
Sure.
but again, I like very lucky like that I have somebody like him that we built that chemistry with to where we can do that and just have a good time. I think that it's just good therapy, you know?
Yeah.
And then rookie fever is what it is, man. It's rookie fever and I've got it all the time. I'm a huge ageist. It shows in my teams.
Okay.
Lately though, like, so I'm really glad that you wanted to talk about a little bit this, like Finero and I have kind of tried to also express like, calm down, you know, like we love these rookies. We get excited, but the goal is still to win.
Yeah.
And you can't build around, you're never going to build your team around like your rookie draft. The rookie draft's there to help build onto your team and
Sure.
to help the bottom feeders become contenders. And so we've kind of been trying to also voice that side of the rookie fever, that throw a little caution to the wind every now and then and understand what you're getting into.
Sure.
So
Rookie fever is a real thing. Like rookie draft pick prices around draft time are going up like meat prices. They're just doubling. It's like, why am I paying so much for this rookie pick? But that's why you don't buy them at the draft.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I'll have a little sipski of my unofficial sponsor, Crown Vanilla here.
I'm drinking some bubbly water. I'm like Sam from Cheers.
Oh yes. Cheers was an awesome show. I'm like, Sam from Cheers. He didn't drink. Got it. All right, cool. Let's talk. Want to talk a little hot take for a minute here?
Yeah, we can absolutely.
All right. Got a rookie or a vet hot take or two for me?
Oh man, some rookie or vet hot takes. Like, man. So I don't know if it's really hard to get hot takey. You know what I mean? Especially when you're on Twitter and you see a lot of the same people start to like a lot of the same people that you like. But so there was one point, man. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Preston Williams.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting subject, actually. I think
there was at a point last year before Preston Williams went out, and because we watch these things on Rookie Fever a little bit, like we track the rookies throughout the season a little bit different. And there was points in the season last year where Metcalf and Preston Williams were near identical, and just kind of like having this steady pace where at one time, like Preston Williams had made our top 12 rookies more times than any other rookie up until he got injured.
That'll do that too.
And so you start to, and I'm not saying he's Metcalf, and even when he was keeping pace before the injury, he never held that value. But if Preston Williams can kind of do that on the cheap a little bit, I'm really interested in having that on my team. I know there's Parker there, but while Parker was on the field with him, or I should say when Preston was on the field with Parker, but Preston had the target share as a rookie.
Yeah.
And I think they get that upgrade of 2 at quarterback. I know everybody's talking about this, so it's not super hot takey, but you can go back and if you kind of just think like, wow, we're all super excited about Metcalf. And you should be. I love Metcalf, so this is not shade, but we're super excited about Metcalf. You type him into like a dynasty trade calculator, and he's going to come up around 20, 21 points. Don't quote me. That's type Preston in, and he's going to come up with like 4 points.
Oh, wow.
and just that like value difference and the ADP, I don't know. I'm really interested. He's coming off injury, so it was like a 9 to 12 month injury, which the short end of it put him right at the beginning of the season. So there are like some red flags, and that could even make that price stay cheap a little longer. But really like him, like really like Justin Jefferson for the Vikings, one of the rookies that I think could help you in year one, maybe just because of opportunity.
Yeah, he's got a path to play.
Yep. Laviska Shenault is a little bit hot takey for some, like even Finero on Rookie Fever gives me a little bit of crap for that one. And I'm not necessarily talking like the long haul dynasty, but just I think you could see a lot of Shark and then Shenault just by default an opportunity there. So there are a couple.
Okay. Got anything on a vet?
A vet. Vets
Other than Andy
tougher.
Dalton?
Well, see, Dalton, like I want to buy low in Dynasty for next
Sure.
year.
Okay. Next year because he's in Dallas as the quarterback starting, or next year because he's somewhere else in the world starting?
I think either or, honestly. I think the one thing about Andy Dalton, and this is what we talked about this a little bit on Super Flexible, is by the time he was able to look around for a team to be on, there were no options. He didn't go into it the same as Winston did. Winston had all the time in the world and he became a backup. Yeah. Cam Newton had all the time in the world. He isn't even on a team. Mariota, same thing. He had all the time in the world. He's a backup. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen with Dalton. Dalton, like, was after the draft. Everybody kind of like started to shape their teams together a little bit. He didn't have the same market opportunities. Like Foles was traded to Chicago by that point.
Yeah, the musical chairs were getting filled.
Yeah, so he goes to Dallas, 1-year deal. If for some reason like Dak goes away, we all know that's easy. Like that's probably going to be Dalton's gig for at least a 2 to 3 year contract. And then I think same thing. I think he'll have a decent market next year if Dak stays in Dallas. I don't think Dalton will be a backup. But this is like a long-term dynasty player, at least a year out. This isn't something that I'm saying to necessarily do for your redraft leagues this year.
No, I would definitely say that unless you're just banking on an injury.
But, man, a hot take vet, like – so a wide receiver that I think is being criminally undervalued in dynasty and in these redraft rankings we're looking at today is Keenan Allen.
Okay, I buy that.
And – Keenan Allen is at like a wide receiver 20 almost offends me. Like Keenan Allen is a guy that has a chip on his shoulder already. And I think that this will motivate him. If anything, I think he's going to be just fine with Tyrod Taylor and then probably Herbert with a better arm than Phillip Rivers. I'm not saying he's got the IQ Rivers has at this point in his career, but not like Rivers wowed us, you know?
Yeah.
But Keenan Allen is somebody that I have been trying to buy all over the place.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
How many leagues are you playing in, sir?
Oh man. So I'm guessing
there's a sigh.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're up to 27-ish.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And is it a mix?
What's that?
Is it a mix of styles?
Most of them are super flex. I'm in 2 quarterback leagues at this point. I'm in 1 32-team league that is very interesting because you still start your 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, a quarterback. You're only allowed to own 2 quarterbacks at one time, and that gets really tricky because if you've gotten lucky and you got one in the rookie draft this year and you already had, just say, Phillip Rivers, who is still in this league a starting quarterback, and then that means there's somebody in our league there's almost always somebody in the league who doesn't have a starting quarterback is what I'm getting at. Or
so they don't play team QB?
Nope. Yeah, it's straight up like
that's mean.
Yeah,
that's rude.
And there've been like super flex talks just to make that or that one quarterback like flex position there.
Yeah.
And it just always gets squashed. And so, yeah, on your bye weeks, you usually don't have a quarterback that week.
Right.
And I mean, with 32 teams, like if you're starting 3 wide receivers, like the players that become valuable are very interesting, honestly. Mm-hmm. Like you'll be like, no, I'm not trading you Alan Hearns. Sorry.
I'm not giving you Cole Beasley.
Dude, absolutely.
He
Cole
had
Beasley.
a good
I
year
would
for a league
love to
like
have
that
Cole
last year.
Beasley in that league.
Oh,
I might see if I can go get him now that you said it.
There you
Super
go.
hard to get trades done because I mean everybody needs some kind of depth.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've considered it last year during my run of adding teams. I was looking online at a reality sports online league where you do auctions and contracts, and I'm like, oh, there's a 32 teamer here. And
I don't recommend it.
no, it seems
Not
like
super
a
much,
super
man. Like,
struggle. Either
yeah.
you win and you're out, like a lot of people probably just play and run, or you lose a bunch. I don't know. It just seems like there'd be a lot of turnover.
More luck than probably any league I play in.
Yeah, I could see that completely.
Yeah, and you have kickers and everything. I mean, it's an IDP league. Like it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Someday I might give it a crack though. So speaking of leagues, let's talk about the listener league entries. I'm doing a drawing at the end for 2 5-star reviews. Well, 1 5-star review, but 2 drawings from that will get a spot in the league. Screenshot those and send it to me at Bob's 3-Toed. I announced 1 winner last week. The second winner is someone who tweeted me with the most what the fuck picture on Twitter, and that was Mr. @Wilson27. And his first name, I do believe, starts with an R. So I was really hoping it was Russell Wilson following me. It was not. There was no blue check mark there. I was very sad, but he's a good guy. And I hope you're listening. So hot dog wiener grill roaster. That's what I'm calling it. You have to see it to understand, or maybe you don't. But there's a little Weber grill or something, and it's got this hot dog roaster that's these little metal framed dudes. And the hot dogs are stabbed onto this wiener thing. It's a rather entertaining way to roast your wieners. So it cracked me up. It's in. There you go. That's our second winner. And the third winner was for a joke. That goes to Mr. NP Merrill. And the joke was, how do you know? I did copy and paste that, didn't I? How do you know if it is Ronald McDonald on a nude beach? Do you know, Shane?
Oh man, I want it so bad. What is it?
He's the one with sesame seeds on his buns. It's cute if nothing else.
Dad jokes.
Exactly. So that's it for the listener league. The next entry can be won by. You got a good one for me? What can we do?
So 2 minutes ago,
yeah,
I got done giving a 5-star review with a quick message. That's how long it takes you. No time at all. Like, just go enter the contest, 5-star review, even write a quick little review. All that little stuff helps, and boom, you're in the contest.
See, that's why you're the man. That's why you're the man right there.
and yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's that freaking easy.
There you go. So we'll do another entry for the person that has the most intriguing Twitter question sent to me in my DM.
Does this question have to be about fantasy?
Does it have to be about fantasy football? It does not have to be about fantasy football. Just send it to me directly because I won't know what's out there otherwise. Send it to me at Bob's 3-Toed. There we go. So you got about a week. I don't really put a hard and fast timeline on this. So let's talk rookie fever, rookie draft, ADP. We'll see round 1, round 2. We'll see how far we get into this bad boy. Maybe round 3. Who knows? So we are using Fantasy Pros ADP, and this is single quarterback ADP. We will kind of mention when we get to the quarterbacks probably where we would have probably taken them or where we've seen them taken in a 2-quarterback Superflex league, but we're going to use it as a single quarterback as those still do exist. So the goal is to cover, if we feel people are too low, hype too high, things like that. Maybe talk about the player a little. We're not trying to break down a whole player because that could be a whole show in itself per player. So they have at number 1, Clyde EdwardsHelaire. Do you find that hilarious? Or do you think that's about right?
That's awesome. I love that. I don't know why I haven't used that yet.
Oh, come on. That's a layup, man. Dad
Can I
jokes
take
are
that to
us.
Rookie Fever at least here and there? I
I'll
mean,
do it, man.
I'll shout you out and everything.
Okay, I'll
That's
take the shout
beautiful.
out. So EdwardsHelaire goes 1, Jonathan Taylor goes 2, and that's probably the most talked about 1-2 punch right there, if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your personal feelings lie there? Got a preference?
So yeah, I do. I'm going Jonathan Taylor here, and for me, I feel really great about it. Like if I have that 101, I almost want to move back this year.
Okay.
I have a pinned tweet of a trade I made that I did Swift for Clyde EdwardsHelaire straight up, and I got the Swift side.
Okay.
And
you took flack for that, didn't you?
I did, and I knew I would. That was the whole point. A lot of people kind of took me wrong. Like I wasn't trying to sell anybody on the idea. It was just my beliefs. And my point to that, like, and kind of about your show a little bit, or what we're doing today, is about that value side. And I think that there's more than ever, like, huge Twitter push that gives this perceived value anywhere you look, because we are all so connected on Twitter now, which is awesome, mind you. Like, don't get me wrong, but there's also like this like false like Fox News type atmosphere to it that
creates its own tidal wave.
You're just kind of like, well, you know, he said it, you know, like, and I don't want him to think I think otherwise. And I think there's really some of that, like, but to say the least, I didn't buy into Clyde Edwards as quickly as everybody else. I think that he's in a great spot. I'm by no means out there saying he's going to be a bust. A lot of people take me that way. Sure. I'm just saying it's still Swift for me there. I think he's actually got less competitions with Kerryon Johnson. People didn't like Kerryon Johnson all off season until Swift landed there, and then all of a sudden people were back and they were like, well, Kerryon's there. And it's like, dude, like, we've all been hating on Kerryon all year, and now that Swift's there, that's your excuse. Kerryon's there.
In Detroit, with a healthy Stafford, is no Kansas City. We're not going to pretend that they are, but they were pretty damn good at being last year.
They still had more yards than Kansas City's backfield did.
Yeah,
and that's with Mahomes.
Yeah. So I have the 101
by only like 50. But true story, like Detroit's offense, and it wasn't pretty. That's the problem. But Detroit's offense had more rushing yards than Kansas City. Yeah. And then you take the Colts, and they had like 2,100 yards out of the backfield. Like, give me Taylor all day, and then Swift.
It's killing me, man. I have the 101 in a league where you really usually only have you only have your rookie contracts for 3 years, maybe 4, and then you let them go because they're too expensive to keep on your team because it's all salary cap based, and it's killing me because I'm like, do I go with Helaire? Do I go with Taylor? Do I go, because who's gonna pop in those 3 years? And it's like, it's different than normal, and it's driving me insanely nuts. And whatever. So
I think that I think you have to like take who your guy is, and that's kind of was my point of that post, that whole trade and everything that I did. Sure. and knowing that I was going to lose that, it was kind of just like, let's fix this, what I feel is a small problem in our industry. I know we just kind of do podcasts, it's hard to call us like industry guys. We're not getting paid here or anything, but
come on, let's pull up the ties here. We're industry guys.
but I don't want to like say Clyde Edwards is going to just bust. But my thing is, if you believe in Swift, tell the world you believe in Swift. Like, help correct the market value. Even if Swift ends up being still valued more than, or Clyde Edwards as valued more, still bring it a little closer together. Like, be honest with how you feel about it. Don't always just be like, well, but the value is here. That's not ever going to fix the market at this point. Like, we've separated the two so much that what's going to happen in my perception, in my world, that's a little demented, but at some point the Clyde Edwards guys are going to watch Swift pass on by.
Yeah.
And then they lose that value because they hold on, or they're like, well, this time next year, this is what's going to be happening. And then I'll be able to do this, this, and this. And then like you slowly lose value, or
Yeah.
I don't know. And I feel like that's what could very much happen with Clyde Edwards in Kansas City.
Yeah. And if you were on Twitter, if you were listening to any podcast, if you were doing anything, you know, there was always people saying Taylor Swift. Hey, that's so funny to say because they never said Taylor Hilaire and they never said Swift Hilaire. They said Taylor and Swift, right? They said
Yeah.
They beat that drum for forever until the draft came and KC picked him up. It's a great opportunity, but we'll see what happens. Number 3, J.K. Dobbins. Number 4 will be CeeDee Lamb, our first wide receiver, but let's stay on J.K. Dobbins in Baltimore. Like it?
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely, you have to like that. And I know this isn't all like in concrete set in stone, but again, that backfield, like they had like 3,200 yards. That's of course with Lamar's huge rushing numbers, but I mean, 3,200 yards out of the backfield. Mark Ingram's going to be on his way out. Still, like, I like it a lot, but Mark Ingram, I think, is still going to be a part of that offense year one.
Yeah.
And I think Dobbins kind of gets a really good share, but won't really take over until Ingram's gone. But I don't think that's really that hot takey or anything, but I'm still Swift over Dobbins.
Okay.
And that's where I've been taking a little bit of the crap, but I'm sticking to it. I'm in Detroit, Bob. Well, I'm not in Detroit, but I'm in Michigan. Okay. So Lions Detroit. Is my team, but yeah.
So, I mean,
Lamb though, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, before we get to Lamb, so Dobbins is behind Ingram as much as Swift is behind Kerryon Johnson, except one's injured, one's not.
So what you're saying is
Dobbins the people who give you crap for taking Swift. No, I'm not saying Dobbins is playing day one. I'm just saying people who are giving you crap for believing in Swift and Kerryon
exactly.
Beating that same drum for Dobbins.
Exactly. And that's like the narrative of just like, well, Detroit sucks and they do this and they do that. And I don't know, guys. You've been getting some gems out of that offense. You just don't like to talk about it. But you all know you've been loving Marvin Jones, and that's not even the best of it. We've had Kenny Galladay, Megatron. I mean, even like we had a season where Reggie Bush was okay. I don't know. It's hard to fight for that, but I've never really been too into Kerryon. I was selling out all last year, and I don't know. I'm really excited about Swift. I think we all know he's the superior talent. It's just we don't like that landing spot. That's the narrative, and
sure.
I think that part of it though is just like how you're supposed to fall into line, and you're supposed to think that Kansas City hasn't had anybody rush for 1,000 yards since 2016 or 2017. And we just keep saying it's this gem of a landing spot for running backs. It's like this perceived thing that we had from when Kareem went off and from Jamal Charles.
He did great in my Broncos.
Fun, guys. But, I mean, and I'm not saying that means all running backs that go there, but we keep saying, like, oh, it's just such a great landing spot. Look at the numbers. Like, nobody's done it.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's okay. I like it. This is what it is to do. Is talk about it. It's literally rookie hype fever. It's what we're talking about. So I love it. So we talked about 1, 2, 3. We kind of talked about number 5 with Swift, but number 4 and 6 are Lamb and then Judy. And we're going to probably lump them in together just because in the pre-draft season, they were lumped in together as the 1-2 punch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Lamb to Dallas gets a great quarterback, or a great backup quarterback, one of the two, right? On an offense that likes to pass the ball. Has a good offense to it. Denver has seemingly all the weapons. Everybody's questioning our quarterback, rightfully so. So everybody kind of hates the landing spot for both for now, but could see a possibility.
Yeah, and I mean in Dallas too, he's got McVay, which I like. And I mean, how do you feel about Gallup?
I have him on one or both of my dynasties. I think only one. So I went out and got him on the cheap last year.
Before Lamb got there?
No, I got him last year before he started playing well because someone,
Okay.
I just
So
traded for him in a
pretty
deal
decent
and
price, yeah.
I got him to add him in and said thank you very much. And I like him, but I to me the one I don't love is Cooper, but I also don't love his. I hate putting in the stud wide receiver that's there 1 week or two, maybe 2 out of 3 weeks, and then not there. At least as my main guy. So that's a personal preference, unless I'm playing best ball. But he can play. He can play. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So, you agree with those guys at 4 and 6, all right?
Man, no.
Okay.
For me, like I'm gonna have all.
Are we pushing other receivers up? Or are we
backs.
pushing up more running backs?
I'm gonna have the 5 running backs in the top 5 here, all the way
1,
to
2,
Akers.
3, 4. Okay, and Akers is next, so we'll go right to Akers at number 7.
And then I think that I would agree with Lamb over Judy. Once we get the running backs out of the way, I would agree with Lamb over Judy. But it's so close.
Yeah.
Like I really want both of them on my teams, and we don't know what's going to happen. So I think that Lamb is in the better situation for the future. I don't think, like Cooper, like you mentioned, I don't think he'll be there next year.
Okay. I could he's got the contract scenario, but it tapers off, it seems, fairly quickly. So
yeah.
And then I saw something today on Sleeper that said that Henderson was still rehabbing from his injury, if I've read that right, which could play to the better side for Cam Akers as well.
Yeah, I'm not.
Who knows
I'm
the
not
accuracy
really
of
into
that?
Henderson either way. Yeah, and no matter what, like I like Akers a lot, and he's only 20.
Mm-hmm.
He's so young, so he could have some roller coaster of a first season, but Cam Akers is only 20, and he's a talented running back.
I dig it. I snagged Jalen Reagor in a 10-teamer at 2-3, so that's the 13th pick, and he is listed here at 8. I'll take that value. I think a lot of running backs. That was Superflex, and 3 quarterbacks did go before that, so that puts you 11. Okay, still got a little value. So I see him having a quick path to playing in Philly. Like Jalen Reagor at 8 there?
I like Justin Jefferson a little bit more. I won't even lie. Like for me, and I mean, you're saying probably then no.
I see
Alston,
Jefferson
no
playing quickly too.
Yeah, and I think one thing with Justin Jefferson is now even if we have Dalvin out, which who knows, he'll probably be there, but that's a if, just for fun. If we have Dalvin out, we might even see more through the air.
True.
Then Vikings lost a lot of it on the defense side of the ball, which I think will force them to air it out a little bit more this year. And I think that Justin Jefferson is gonna have to be the guy to step up this year. I don't even know if Adam Thielen has it in him. There's some shade.
Ouch. There's the late hot take.
Right? No, I don't know.
I'm starting to see the hype fire back up
and,
for him.
Yeah, I know, and that'll happen. But man, you want to sell because right now, I mean, you can't even like Keenan Allen is wide receiver 20. You can't even move Keenan Allen, which is crazy to me.
Yeah,
sell me your Keenan Allen shares, but you definitely, for some reason, can move somebody like Adam Thielen, which is weird. So go sell those shares. I think that's weird, though. There's just this weird hype when players kind of come back from something they didn't do last year versus Keenan Allen being a wide receiver, 6 last year?
There you go. With the guy who supposedly can't throw.
Yeah, where is – we're back to our dynasty rankings.
Yeah, I'm on the
I'll have to look.
So. We'll actually pop back around. I think we'll mention both of those guys in that new segment at the end.
But, man, I don't mind Reagor, though. I really don't. I think that he's going to be an important part of that future. I just wonder if he's going to hit as quick in year one. I question Philly's Billy, I question if they can develop a wide receiver there because I haven't seen them do it outside of D-Jax.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
then they land like Alshon. I guess that Jordan Matthews, but they've had so many wide receivers that go through that program that aren't successful.
All right. That's Rager and
But Rager's better. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not hating. That's Rager and Justin Jefferson. Let's talk.
So is Rager your guy though? Sorry.
Is he my guy?
Yeah.
No, I don't
'Cause
remember
it's
who was on the
cool.
board when I took him. I was sitting in a pool with a beer in one hand. And I felt like that was the best of what was on. I didn't. Let's see.
And you know, D-Jax and Alshon aren't staying healthy.
No, I don't think so at all. And that was part of it. I think Ruggs was probably on there, and Las Vegas scares me. I don't know what that team's really doing. I could see potential. I could see him being fine. They need a guy for sure, so I could see it. Since T. Higgins in Cincinnati, that's a crowded wide receiver core that is trying to find an identity. But he's got a lot of talent. Pittman in Indy. I was already sitting. I just traded away T.Y. Hilton and was sitting on Paris Campbell from last year. I didn't want another Indy receiver. So, I don't know. That was just kind of was going down in my mind. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go.
And then Denzel Mims.
And Mims is one of those offenses that's like the Raiders offense. Like I could see him being great, and I could see him seeing ghosts. I don't know. So
yeah. Well, and then I mean, it's even like Deebo Samuel in the Senior Bowl and how he showed up though, got on even a few more radars than he already was, and then ended up they saw something there, and that's I think similar to Denzel Mims. Like you watch him play in the Senior Bowl against some of that top talent there, and he makes some nice plays. And I know that's a small sample size, and it's not fair to all the people grinding tape out there, but I mean, if you just go back and focus on those games like that, like you'll fall in love with Mims.
All right. So we go Ruggs, Higgins, and Pittman to round out the first round, and we'll slide Mims in there as 13 just because it seems to change and scatter positions after that. So Ruggs, Higgins, Pittman, Mims from 10, 11, 12, and 13. Is it just pull your flavor here? They're all in the same tier for you, or is it you got a love of one over the other?
Did we get Higgins in there? We got Higgins, right?
We did. Ruggs, Higgins, Pittman, Mims. Yep. 10, 11, 12, 13.
And then, I mean, I'm going to go to my boy Chenault. I don't know how you
skip
feel.
right down to 15?
Yeah, like who's the guy at 14? Like, I don't know.
It's running back, so.
I know, it's Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one in a second and go back to the hype train, so.
The hype train. Let's get some more hype for Chenault.
Big fan of Chenault?
I think that he's in a good situation. Like Gardner last year didn't even play the entire season, and he himself had like 3,200 yards in that offense. If you take what Foles had, I mean, if you're going to get 4,200 yards out of that offense, it's got to go somewhere. I don't think that I love Shark, by the way. Like he's one of my favorite buys, but I don't think that you're going to see 12 to 1,400 through Shark. So I think that you could safely see 700 to 900 through Chenault, wide receiver 3, maybe 900 yards, 5 touchdowns, somewhere in there. I'm not saying wide receiver 1. I'm not saying maybe I think he could be a viable wide receiver 3 to flex starter year 1.
Okay.
In that offense. Yeah, I like Chenault a lot.
All right, we're gonna do a quick speed shot on 3 guys, and then we're gonna move on to the next subject. So Keyshawn Vaughn, not buying it. You're giving it all the Brady effect. Or are you saying that? Or are you thinking he's worth it? He will be the man. Ronald Jones is a myth, and they're gonna get Vaughn on the field sooner than later, or he'll be good at least after this season.
It's a tough one because it's not like Ronald Jones has really wowed us, but I think this is one of those situations where we hate the player so much that anybody that would have landed there would have got more hype than they deserved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Keyshawn Vaughn just fits that bill more than anybody. I think that he's this year's Darrell Henderson. I don't want any part of it. I think that he'll probably show some flashes. I think he's going to get more opportunity than Henderson, but I think they really want to see what Rojo has. And I know that people hate hearing that.
Okay.
I don't want either of them, to be honest with you, though. I just kind of want out of that backfield.
Okay. Yeah, I had Ronald Jones last year, and I wanted out of the backfield too. So.
Yeah, we had a window, man.
I got rid of him.
Nice. I have a share.
Not
I
for
know
much.
I have at least one. I'm not even going to lie, but I was kind of in the camp that they wouldn't draft a running back and just keep going with Rojo.
Yeah.
So if he shows any flashes, I'll still be getting out.
Yeah.
But
right.
Good for you. Do you remember what you got? Sorry.
No, and I'm sure it was peanuts, but definitely probably a lot more than I paid for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but if we're going to insert Burrow and Tua, who are 16 and 18, if we're going to go and insert those guys as a super flex, because we're 16 and 18, we're middle of the second round. That's a reasonable place for those two quarterbacks. I don't doubt. Where would you insert them in a 2-quarterback or super flex league if you were going to do it? I know there's a couple different schools of thought here. So
I'm hoping that my team is in good enough order to where I don't need a quarterback on my super flex teams, and I really still am pushing for Taylor and Swift at 101, 102 there. And if I need to, like, I'll keep taking running backs throughout this top 5 like this. But if you need a quarterback, that is awful advice, and you absolutely take the running back, because they're going to probably have the highest rate of year one success when you can probably trade them for another quarterback in a small piece somewhere in the season.
Yeah.
And a lot of my teams, because again, I'm quarterback early and often, I don't want to leave my startups without 4 to 5 starters. And then I'm not going to ever trade under 3 in my startups. I've had some orphan teams, though, where I was in a quarterback needy situation. And then I think that's when I do advise you to take care of that quarterback, because in trades, quarterbacks do cost a lot. But in the rookie draft, you're going to get your value year one out of those running backs. And I'm not even trying to plug here, but if you listen to Super Flexible podcast,
plug away, dude.
Superflex Super Show with John Hogue, James the Brain, Stompy, Brian, there's so many guys on that show. Any of those Superflex shows, like, that's the other one besides Super Flexible I would push anybody to. Everybody's talking about Superflex, but I am telling you, like, if you don't get cocky in your startup draft and think that you're going to just be okay drafting like Drew Brees and Brady late, you're going to have no fun in a year or two. And you're probably going to leave that team an orphan in really bad shape for somebody else. Like, I don't feel like the quarterback position is to be at all neglected.
Yeah, I agree.
That said, like, I know, like, John Hogue on the Superflex Super Show, he disagrees with me full-heartedly, and he would still say to take Joe Burrow 101 there. But if I don't need a quarterback, I'm taking a running back here, and I'm starting him, like, right away. Whereas if I take Joe Burrow, he's not going to start week 1 for me with the way my quarterbacks are sitting. I have to wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's different schools of thought there. Quarterbacks last 10, 20 years. Running backs last 2-3 years, 8
There's
years
that
if you're
too,
on a good
absolutely.
day.
Yeah.
You know, there's quarterback bust versus running back opportunity. There's all kinds of different theories. So,
but I like trying to get Herbert like 107 to 110.
Okay.
I'd rather go in a Superflex rookie draft.
So I saw Easton. Wait.
Jacob Eason?
Yeah, he went in the end of the first round.
Oh, wow.
The
That's
9th or 10th
early
pick.
for me.
He went before Herbert. I was like, okay. The guy was committed. He wanted his guy, and I think he had to wait a little bit, so he took him.
I hope he's smarter than me and he knows what he's doing, because I have quite a few Eason shares, but I haven't paid that for them. But I do believe that he could be one of those quarterbacks that takes over surprisingly in year 1. And like we talked about earlier, like, I'm not super into Phillip Rivers. Sure. I think that he's a smart guy that can run that offense, but they should have just probably stuck it out with Brissett. If anything, though, like bringing somebody like Phillip Rivers in could help Jacob Eason and his future.
Sure, I agree. So we're going to talk about a kind of listener question. It's a little segment that I thought up today while I was working. There's some air quotes for the people who saw that. I was at work, and I was working, but my mind has always got the music of fantasy football running in the background. So a little segment called Contender or Pretender. So everyone who has a team always believes they're winning, and we're always right until we get to the end of the season and only one guy in the league won. And so a lot of people love to trade for players, and they often tend to grab the win now guy and trade away youth, or as I like to say, sacrifice youth and possibly a little bit of the future for it. But hey, if you're winning a trophy, I'm sure it's worth it. So the thought was to take young player A for old vet B and see if it would be worth the sacrifice. So one person said Higgins versus Hilton. You think if you're contending, do you think getting Hilton and giving up Higgins is a good trade? Hilton will have a much better year this year, but Higgins will be better in the future. And that sounds really dumb after I said it, being that he's a rookie and Hilton's older, but a good enough year from Hilton maybe was the answer. I don't know.
Right, man. This one I'm fine getting out of Hilton, especially we don't really know what will happen with Phillip Rivers right away. And there's Paris Campbell there. Pittman, like we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and that's a new quarterback. He doesn't have a favorite target there or anything. And Hilton's obviously the leader in the wide receiver room, but we don't know if he's going to be the go-to guy at this point. Higgins, I'm all about. Like, I think that he's going to be the future there with Joe Burrow. I think that that'll be fun to watch. It might not be instant, but I don't think it'd be that crazy that him and Hilton finish like just 200, 300 yards apart either in year one. Like, I'm all about selling Hilton. So
yeah,
that one's kind of easy for me. I know there's some guys out there that still have plenty of T.Y. Hilton love, though.
Yeah. So what about Judy versus Jones or Calvin Ridley? I almost said Riley Ridley. Calvin Ridley versus Jones. So obviously Jones, to me, holds a lot of value more than likely for the next 2 to 3 years, probably pretty easy, and you probably ride him until he's dead.
I like this one.
So would you, if you were the guy getting the younger guy, are you happy there giving up Jones? And if you're the guy giving up the younger guy, is Jones enough to make it worthwhile if you're trying to chase the trophy?
I want Julio here.
Yeah.
And I'm even willing to add a little bit to Calvin Ridley to get it done. I think that Julio is one of those guys like where you can get that age-reduced price, but he's still under contract for a couple more years. And Ridley is kind of just been a wide receiver too, with like those big, huge flashes here and there, and he hasn't been super consistent with or without Julio. I think that we also have to consider the fact that just because Julio's gone doesn't mean there's not going to be another wide receiver there someday. And it doesn't mean that he's not going to be better than Calvin Ridley, especially the way these draft classes have been looking.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that, but I mean, so and this is what the Falcons have done. And Julio's just an outlier because he's one of the best wide receivers ever, let alone our generation.
Mm-hmm.
So Calvin Ridley doesn't compete. You know what I mean? When you're talking Hall of Fame, and I'm not saying he's not going to have a good career, but Calvin Ridley's not super young either. This one for me is pretty easy. Julio. I think like you said, you get that 3 to 4 year window with Julio, and he's going to continue to perform. But every year you are going to lose value on Julio, but you might not lose all of the production you think to. This is a guy who's had like 1,300 and something yards every season.
I feel like you're gonna hang up the pod and go see if you can grab some Julio shares right about now. You got a little excited there.
And I think you need to. Like the next one, I think is a great example too. Like you mentioned with like Judy and Julio, and that like I think you could probably realistically get something like that done today because of like you mentioned earlier that inflated rookie price and the rookie pick price that is happening right now before all the buy low windows happen on these wide receivers, because you might not be able to buy Jerry Jeudy low, but he might be one of the wide receivers you can buy low. There's going to be like, of these 5 to 10 wide receivers that we're gushing about, probably 5 to 7 of them you're going to be able to buy low at some point next season. And if they don't hit year one, it doesn't mean they're not going to have a decent career. But I think that Jerry Jeudy could lose a little bit of value before we see his true potential.
Yeah,
and he's got Sutton there, Noah Fant. Yeah, and I mean, somebody like Julio, I think, could help you contend. And honestly, even on a rebuild team, like, I hope that you're trying to get back into contention within 2 to 3 years. Like, even if you feel a little bit hopeless, I hope you're not like, man, 5 years, because that sucks. Like, if that's your team situation and you don't think you can fix that team in 5 years, I don't know, but
dynasty might not be for you.
Something, but then if that's really, like, you do own Julio and you're in that situation, like, I think you go to a team that is more confident than you, and you try to, instead of just going for a Jerry Jeudy, you go for like somebody more like Justin Jefferson and Laviska Shenault, who
you probably get a couple pieces in reality, but
but you get them because they have less value. They might actually hit more in year one, have the value spike, and then you can maybe offer Justin Jefferson for CeeDee Lamb going into the off season because of that value spike that is naturally going to be there, assuming that this is right. Like, I'm not saying, but if like Justin Jefferson really hit like Metcalf did last year, and CeeDee Lamb or Jeudy are having growing pains, you might be able to get those deals done, even if Jerry Jeudy in 2 years has the better career, because that's how impatient we are as dynasty owners.
Yeah.
So, and so I would recommend going more that route than just like straight up Jerry Jeudy for Julio, just because I think you want to split your stocks and give yourself a better chance of hitting in at least one of those markets.
All right, cool. So we'll work on that segment. It's kind of an interesting little thing, but it's a question that a lot of teams talk. It's a thought that runs, I think, a lot of owners' minds beginning of the season, middle of the season, end of the season. Until that trade deadline, you're always kind of, are you contending? Are you pretending? So we shall see.
I mean, Julio's one of those players that's in like everybody's mouth. Like, whenever they're like, who are your top 5 wide receivers ever? Who are the top 5 wide receivers you played against? And Julio's in everybody's mouth. Like, there's a reason for that. Like, the people that, like, coaches, like,
that sounded so wrong.
Right. Like, but the coaches, the media, the defenders, like, you know what I mean? Everybody respects Julio.
Yeah.
And I think that there's just a few wide receivers like that in your lifetime where they're just like, holy cow.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to my Ask All preseason question. This is for the redrafters out there to help you try and steal a player in your drafts. So what's a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver individually that you could possibly see finishing in the top 5 on the season of their position, but you can pick them up as the 13th running back, the 14th running back, the 16th running back, not in the 14th, 15th, 16th round, but at their own position. So you get a nice little, you pick them up maybe in the late second, third, maybe 4th round, and they turn out to be that stud top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at their position. So start with quarterbacks, which is kind of the I'm going to say the easy one, but I don't know. So who do you see there at quarterback that you could steal, get that extra value on?
Some late guys. So this one I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford. And
yes.
let's do a price check and make sure I'm looking at the right rankings here. Is Matthew
I got him
Stafford
15th on
13?
mine.
Oh, he's 13 on mine. I wonder where my difference went.
We could be going 4 versus 6 points or something like that, but
looking now just to be sure. But I'm going Stafford. Even at either of those, I think that if Stafford stays healthy, he was on a career year last year, and I think he has a healthier Hawkinson, a better running back, a better O-line, a better defense.
Yep.
I really want Stafford to stay healthy.
There's a lot of people with goldfish minds who are going to forget the beginning of last year and how good he was and think about the injury and everything else. But if you're playing in a redraft league and you're grabbing a quarterback late, I don't care. Give me the guy with the shot, and if I don't like him, I'll cut him and grab somebody else. So
yep,
I like it.
Oh yeah, good point too.
Yeah. So that was the quarterback is always the easiest one there. Let's go to running back and PPR ranking. And who'd you say there? If you could steal a 13th or later, but has a good shot. Oh, there's some good names. What the? How are the rookies? All right, whatever.
It's rookie fever is serious.
Oh my God! Someone get a thermometer. These guys are on fire. Jeez.
Yeah, rookie fever is a serious thing. I mean, this is ridiculous, honestly. Like, where's Todd Gurley on yours?
On mine, Todd Gurley is sitting down at 20.
Yeah,
for the Falcons. Going to be running the backfield as long as those knees are halfway decent.
Behind Devin Singletary, Le'Veon Bell, like Chris Carson, who might not even start healthy, Austin Eckler, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Gurley top 5.
Okay. There you go. All right.
I'm a huge Gurley guy, though, so I got a huge crush there. But then Melvin Gordon, like, yeah, I'll take Melvin Gordon. Yeah. What do you think? You got any here?
Let's see. So my rankings are a little different than yours because we're just pulling something slightly different. But yeah, Gurley is a value without doubt.
In redraft too, yeah.
I like in a redraft or that contending team in Dynasty where you're hoping to pull him for a year or two and go for it. Gordon, I don't love him as much, which is I don't know. I think I tried not to be biased to my own team. So I think that does it to me. But I like the running backs we had on our team. I thought they're fully capable, fully healthy. And so I felt like Gordon was like, all right, fine. What are they bringing this guy in for? But that was just me being a little bullish on my own Broncos backfield.
And I know our rankings are a little different, but do you still have Melvin Gordon above Gurley?
He's one spot below, 20 and 21. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But man, I'll put Gurley well above Melvin.
Yeah.
Even with liking him a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's a deal right there. Let's go wide receiver. PPR. Cool. The wide receiver PPR, 13 or later that you can see ending in the top. Holy shit. Okay, this has to be broken because mine's showing Julio at 14.
Mine has Julio at 5.
Okay, yeah. We're going to run with yours on this one because mine has a malfunction.
So, and I kind of said this one earlier, but I mean, I've got a couple. But I'm going to go Keenan Allen and he's at 14. And then who we talked about earlier, Adam Thielen at 12. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll take Keenan Allen here all day.
And a PPR too. Yeah.
When has Adam Thielen ever outplayed Keenan Allen on a healthy season?
When's Keenan Allen ever had a healthy season? I'm sorry, what was the question?
he did last year.
I know, just messing.
But I hear you.
So, all right. Well, I think that's just about gonna wrap it up. We'll y'all make sure you go out there, subscribe so you don't miss a show. Got some good guests coming on. Gonna keep it rolling. Gonna keep having some fun. And
man,
Shane,
you've had some great guests though too.
I've had some fantastic guest.
Yeah, you had Jordan on, you had Katie on.
Yep.
Yeah, you've had some awesome guests.
Yep. Remind the listeners where they can find you, sir.
I am at DFF_swag. Follow all those shows too: Rookie Fever, Fantasy Football Breakdown, and Super Flexible. So always trying to pump something out.
There you go. I love
Just it. Having fun, man.
Why not?
Trying to.
Why not? Trying's failing. You're doing.
Yeah, right.
All right, so I can be found at Bob's Three-Toed on YouTube at Bob's Three-Toed Warriors. Listen to new shows that are currently dropping Monday and Thursdays. I'm going to figure that out, figure out where I really want them. But so far, it looks like it's going to be Monday and Thursdays, just about anywhere pods can be found. That's all for this show. This is Bob's Three-Toed Warrior and Swagzilla. Reminding you that soon enough you'll be able to hit the waiver wire, set your lineups, dominate your opponents. win some damn championships.
I love
together,
that,
people.
Bob. I'm gonna have to go change my Twitter handle now.
Go do it, buddy. Go do it. You guys have a great day.